Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling something incredibly dynamic. We're looking at the absolute explosive economic growth happening right now across the African continent. But more importantly, we're zooming in on the critical tension between that rapid expansion and the crucial need for sustainable business practices. It's a massive balancing act.
So, guiding us through all of this is Oluyomi Oladavid. She's a prominent policy influencer and a deeply passionate global development advocate. And honestly, when you read her work, her genuine care for people just instantly shines through. She is fiercely dedicated to generating real-world solutions. She wants to influence policy and provide some much-needed clarity on these really complex macro strategies.
Right off the bat, she draws a very firm line in the sand. Check out this quote from her article. She writes, "I think it is more imperative and welfare-enhancing to build and maintain institutions that effectively and sustainably regulate business practices." So, she isn't just blindly cheering for economic growth. She's actually challenging us to look closely at the very foundations of how that growth is being managed.
Okay, let's dive right into this with Section 1, the African investment boom. Let's look at the yes side of this equation.
Oluyomi Oladavid points out that the African continent is rapidly becoming this massive central hub for global investment. And it's not just happening in, one or two traditional areas. We're seeing an incredible diversity of sectors booming right now. We're talking financial services, energy generation, goods manufacturing, but also things like sanitation and waste management, real estate development, construction, agro-processing, IT, and even media and entertainment. She paints this vivid picture of a multifaceted economic engine that is literally drawing eyes from all over the planet.
But here's where her narrative introduces a really crucial pivot. Section 2, Beyond Favorable Business Climates.
Her core argument here is that African governments urgently need to evolve their focus. She argues it's just no longer enough to simply roll out the red carpet for foreign direct investment, or FDI. Now, attracting foreign money? Sure, that's a great starting point. But she makes it absolutely clear that it cannot be the finish line.
What she advocates for instead, and this is absolutely crucial, is rigorous institution building. So what does that actually mean here? Well, it's about creating and maintaining robust frameworks that can sustainably regulate these incoming businesses. She believes this is the primary, really the only way to protect everyday consumers and safeguard the environment amidst such sweeping growth. Because think about it, without strong institutions, a so-called favorable business climate can quickly turn into a really dangerous one for the local population.
To prove this point, she moves from macroeconomic theory straight into real-world evidence. Let's look at Section 3, the FinTech warning sign.
Now, what's really interesting here is the sharp contrast unfolding. On one hand, she totally acknowledges the positive impacts. The recent growth powered by indigenous and foreign-invested fintechs has absolutely increased competition and spurred some truly vibrant innovation. But on the flip side, and this is the warning sign, she notes a severe lack of compliance with global best practices. Basically, the innovation is moving so fast that it's vastly outpacing the regulatory guardrails.
And the consequences of that gap? They are very, very real. She took a hard look at customer review surveys for some of these foreign-invested financial service providers, and what she uncovered is deeply troubling. We're looking at a proliferation of shaming practices, constant nuisance marketing, just terribly poor relationship management, and alarming privacy abuses. She even notes things like threat strategies and outright exploitation being used against everyday consumers. It's a lot.
So we have to ask, why is this happening? She gives us a crystal clear diagnosis. These severe human impacts are the direct result of a lack of institutional oversight. It all boils down to the poor regulation of unscrupulous firms operating in this fast-expanding industry. When the pursuit of profit goes completely unchecked by strong institutions, well, it's everyday people who end up paying the price.
Okay, so we've seen the booming growth. We've seen the dangerous pitfalls. How does she suggest we fix it? Section 4, Protecting Consumers and Environment.
Let's break down her logic here, because it builds so beautifully from step to step. She strongly believes economic growth and consumer protection are not mutually exclusive. They can coexist. Step 1, yes, absolutely, pursue macroeconomic growth and employment generation. But concurrently, step 2, we have got to prioritize institution building. And then, step 3, we use those very institutions to ensure consumer protection and long-term sustainability. It has to be treated as a comprehensive package deal.
Which leads us perfectly into our final point. Section 5, the sustainability mandate.
Zooming back out to the macro level, she insists that businesses must actively work to esteem human rights standards and global best practices. In her work, she directly references the UN Global Compact's Guide to Corporate Sustainability, and it brilliantly illustrates her point. It serves as this stark reminder that shaping a sustainable future actually requires aligning your business operations with universally accepted principles on human rights, labor, and the environment.
So, if we had to summarize her entire overarching thesis, it comes down to this one simple, powerful equation. Sustainability equals welfare enhancement. True economic success in Africa, or literally anywhere else for that matter, cannot just be measured by how much foreign capital is flowing in. It absolutely requires a sustainable development approach that prioritizes human welfare and institutional integrity just as much as financial returns.
So I'm going to leave you with the question to ponder, inspired directly by her insights. Can we achieve massive economic growth while simultaneously prioritizing consumer protection and human rights? Well, Oluyomi Ola-David's research shows us exactly why we must. The blueprint is right there, but the real test is going to be in the execution. How will future investments shape the continent's social fabric? It's something we all need to be watching closely. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the real-world impact behind the numbers.